thank Professor Asun again, to invite me, to share about the stories of Thailand today. And I want to talk about the migrant laborers in Thailand. And, this topic is about the analysis of current situation affected by Thai government policies. You know Thailand, right? So we have, population, we have 68 million. I don't know Spanish, I speak
50 million.
50? Okay. We win. And another one, our economy in Southeast Asia is the second largest in Southeast Asia. The first one is Singapore, and 20th largest in the world by gross domestic product. So we use the indication of the GDP to indicate our, the growth of our economy. So then, let me talk about the brief. I will sum history of the foreign labor migration to Thailand. Why I have to talk about this? Because last year, the issue of the labor migration in our country became a very big issue in the country. Why? Because our government, they made the policy, they issue the policy, that against to the employer, and it destroyed the economic system. That's why I have to talk about this. Okay, let me sum up about the brief history first. In Thailand, we had migrant laborers, or we call migrant workers, since 1882 to 1898. It's so long time ago. And at the very beginning, started from Chinese people. Chinese people, they migrated to Thailand for work around that time. And it is estimated that Chinese population in Bangkok increased from 45,000 to 600,000 during that period. And next, in 1970, in Thailand, especially in Bangkok, we had rapid expansion of the urban industrial sector. When the industrial become, get bigger and bigger, the demand for the industrial laborers, from rural, they move to urban or the city. And also the number of the rural Thai migrated to work in the urban areas at that time in 1970. And also in 1990, we had economic boom. I think the same in Europe or in America. And what's happened at that time? Shortages of Thai laborers. It started shortage of Thai laborers at that time. And the Thai government had to import foreign workers from the neighboring countries, especially Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia. Because Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia are our neighboring countries. I'm gonna show you, the map of the neighboring countries, in the next slide. And also in 1997, we faced a very big economic crisis. We call IMF. Do you know IMF, right? At that time? No? Okay, it's a very big economic crisis at that time, 1997. And also, what's happened? Our government decided to repatriate all foreign workers to their home countries, because we don't have money to hire them anymore, and the business in Thailand, getting very, they face very big problems, and then they didn't have money to hire foreign employers anymore. So that's why they have to send back the foreign workers, to their own countries. And after that, in 2001, the foreign laborers or foreign workers, they returned to Thailand after the economic crisis, because the economy is already recovered. The number of migrant workers in Thailand reached to more than 3 million laborers. 3 million. Approximately 6% of the Thai population. If you can see the border, the bordering area. The bordering area here, it's very easy to cross the country to our country. Because the border line is a natural border. We don't have to see they just cross the road or, across the border to our country. It's very easy. That's why, when they enter our country, right now it's almost, I'm not sure, 4 million people entering Thailand. Okay, next, let me show you. Let me talk about the push factories and food factories. Why they want to come to our country? The push factories. The first one is the disparities in economic and social development in the neighboring countries. As you know, Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia, when they had the problems about economy, the very disparities in economy, low wage. Take a look at the food factories. Food factories here. As I mentioned, the first one is higher income. This one is a very important factors why they want to come to Thailand. The second one is better living condition. In our country, when they come to our country, they expect to have better living condition. Of course, when they come to our country, they are employed. Sometimes, they can stay with employers under the good conditions of the facilities, health or others. And the next one, here it's also very important factors. High demand of labor market, we call 3Ds work. There is no one want to work for 3Ds work. Because 3Ds works are stand for the first D, dirty work. Dirty work. They don't want to work in the dirty work or the dirty situation. The second D is dangerous work. They don't want to work in the dangerous condition. And the last one is the difficult work. They don't want to work for the difficult works. Here is the main problems for Thai people, for Thai labor. They don't want to work for 3 days anymore. So we have to import labor workers to work in our countries. Let me show you Thailand GDP per capita. Here, from 2010 to 2016. 2010, the GDP per capita is getting higher and higher in our country. And then I will compare to the 3 neighboring countries. Here is the GDP per capita in our country, Thailand. Right now, it's more than almost $6,000. But comparing to Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, it's far away from our country. So that's why this is it's the proof, evidence to show you the main reasons why they want to come to our country. How many migrants working in Thailand? The official number is 2.2 million, but in the reality, it's almost 4 million. So here, I separated into 3 countries. You see, Myanmar is the most, it's the country, a number of the Myanmar labor is the highest one, it's the biggest one. And then it's Laotians or Lao PDR and Cambodia. So the important here is, you see this one, the red color. The red color is the illegal workers. Illegal workers working in Thailand. They did not register for working. They just enter our country and work illegal. And here, you see, for the legal workers, the green one, only 100,000. They registered, and then they work legally. That's the problem. Also, you can see Laotian here. The illegal worker, almost 34,000. But for the legal worker, here it's, for Laotian, I have to say that Laotians, when they enter to our country, they have the legal documents and then they make it legally. One reason why Laotian people, they can speak Thai very well. Even in not the same country, but they understand all Thai language. That's why, they get very easy, for the process of the legal documents. For other countries, they cannot speak Thai well. So when they enter to Thailand, they enter, from the body port, and then they just come in Thailand, and then they work illegally. And the last one is the Cambodian as well. When they enter to Thailand, here the illegal workers is about 153,000, but for the legal workers here, it's 241,000. It's quite a lot. Here, types of the migrant workers in Thailand, we can separate it into 4 types. The first one, registered migrants, and second one, unregistered migrants. The third one, national verification migrants, or we call NV. And the last one, MOU migrants. Okay, let me clarify what's different between the 4 categories. The first one, registered migrants. Here, registered migrants here means sometimes they enter Thailand illegally, but after that, they go to the government officer and then they make the register. So they are legal workers. And second one, unregistered migrants here. Sometimes they enter our country legally, but they work illegally. You know what I mean? And third one, national verification. Here, they enter our countries totally illegally. No documents, no passport, no work permit. But our government, they are very flexible. They try to amend the law and try to persuade the workers. Okay, if you enter our countries illegally, please make it legally. Come to our office and then register. And you will be considered as the legal worker, like this. So it's very strange, right? And the last one, MOU migrants. MOU migrants, it's about the MOU, you know what I mean. MOU, it's the memorandum of understanding between government and government. Thai government and Myanmar government, Laotian government, and Cambodian government, we signed MOU and agree to send labor to our country. This one is totally or absolutely legal. But this group, sometimes they enter legally, but after that they work illegally. Okay, for the legal work here, the same concept. Legal work means that they enter our country illegally and then try to get the document in order to make a registration for getting the work permit. So they become legal worker. Our government also, they consider that the more we imported the worker, the foreign workers, the more we got the problems. So far, they have tried to make the policy, or they have tried to do to make the regulation in order to support the foreign workers. From 1992, they announced registration for the workers who come to our country illegally. Then 1996, also they extend the period of registration to make the worker eligible to be the legal worker. And then in 1998, also they extend again registration. The person who has not registered yet come to the office of the labor department and then to make it legal like this until 2002. Our government, I don't know, in my opinion, they cannot bear it anymore. So they try to talk to the partner countries, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia, to make the memorandum of the understanding in order to decrease the problems that always occur in this situation. And 2010, national verification started to be used from 2010. This one, why they have to do this? Even they try to announce the memorandum of the understanding. Here is the climax of this presentation last year. The announcements of the Royal Decree in 2007, last year. This issue became very big issue in our country. Why a new Royal Decree is needed? So you might be curious, what does it mean, a Royal Decree? Here, I give the definition here. The Royal Decree means that the order with the power of legislation issued by a ruler or other person or group with authority. Here, our country have a king. So, when we issue the law or we make the legislation, it has to be improved by the king. So we call the Royal Decree. Actually, it's the law, easily speaking. So the main object here, why they have to make this Royal Decree. The first one is to tackle human trafficking issues. The second one is to solve the problems of foreign laborers working in Thailand. And the third one or the last one is to maintain the national security. In the past, you see here, when employing foreigners without a work permit, the employer will be fined or will get the punishment. Here, only $300 to $3,000. But the new law, they will be fined at $12,000 to $25,000. So this number really changed our economy. Why? I'm going to explain next. And also you see the law in 2008 and the law in 2007 here. In case the employee in case the employer employ foreigners to work differently than the conditions specified in the work permit, they will be fined to $300 for the old law, but for the new law, they will be fined, started from $12,000. We see the new Royal Decree on migrant workers. I want to say it's about pros and cons, or positive and negative. This one, advantages for the new law. It helps organizing migrant workers effectively and also solving the problems of the illegal workers for a long term. And facilitate or help protecting the migrant workers. For example, wage, benefits, and other employment conditions. For example, healthcare or something else. Also preventing the problems of the human trafficking, labor exploitation, and child labor. In our country, we always face these problems. Exploitation of the laborers, and sometimes they use a child labor. So our government, try to solve these problems. And the last one, to protect the discrimination and violation of the individual rights. Here is also very important. But for the negative side of the new Royal Decree of the new law, the first one is the huge burden to employers and migrant workers. Why the huge burden? When they announced this law, our employers, they are afraid of this law, and then they don't want to employ the foreign worker anymore, and then they send back the employers to their countries. And also, even if they want to hire the employers, but they're afraid of the law, so they cannot hire anymore. In opposite way, the employees also want to work for the employers, but they also afraid of the new law, so they cannot work anymore. So they flee to their country. And for the businessmen or the SMEs or entrepreneur, they don't have any more workers to work for them, and the economy becomes ruined. Okay. The second one is the labor shortages. Here, just now I explained the first one, its effects. The second one, labor shortages. we don't have foreign workers anymore because foreign workers they flee to their country, they go back to their countries. And the third one with disruptions to the Thai economy. This one, no more employees. How can employers continue their business? And next is the humanitarian problems. Humanitarian problems. And the last one is the widespread corruptions among law enforcement officials. When they face this, sometimes they have the loopholes for the official governments. I mean the Thai official government, they try to exploit from the labor from the foreign laborers. For example, when they know that the foreign workers, they come into our country illegally, they try to get some money in order to maintain their status to work in Thailand legally like this. Concluding remarks. I have 40 minutes. So the new royal decrees here also, actually I do agree with the new royal decree because it can solve the problems of the illegal workers in our country, and also they can protect the migrant workers and their benefits, and also tackling the problems of the human trafficking. I really agree for the new royal decree, but for the weak point or the negative point here for our government, we call the expensive lessons for the government. Because of the sudden new law enforcement, because of the announcement of the sudden new law enforcement, it really it brings the problems to the employers. It brings the problems to the employers and Thai economy nationwide. And the second one, more effective, concise measures for legislation is essential. So in my opinion, before the government will issue or announce the new law, they need to do public hearing from the people. We can do it. If I do it, it's gonna have any effects for employers or not. They have to do this first, and then they can do legislation or make the issue or do the policies or publish the policies or do the law enforcement before they did it. So that's why in order to protect the problems that will happen, for the employer or any other sections that related to this business or this issue. That's it. Okay, finish.